Good morning, Mohale, Foster Mohale, from a spokesperson from the Health Department.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners, and thanks for this opportunity and
Uh,
happy holiday.
Happy holidays to you too. Thank you so much for joining us during these holidays and festive season. We have a worrying story coming out of our latest, on the pregnancies and births over the Christmas period. But this year again, we see a rising rate of teen pregnancies in South Africa. 145 teenagers gave birth in public hospitals on Christmas Day alone, while just over 1,700 babies were delivered. What can we say about this staggering figure?
Yes, as the Department of Health, we are very concerned about the rising numbers of teenage pregnancy within short space of time. As you have correctly pointed out that this year on Christmas Day, we've recorded over 145 teenage mothers who delivered the babies. This is a serious concern for us, and we want to call upon all the sections of the society, the families, the communities, the leaders, to join hands with government in order to raise awareness about the dangers of teenage pregnancy and teenage mothers, precisely with regards to education, because these have got potential to derail the education program
Hmm.
of these young people who are our future leaders.
Yes. And what are the ages of the mothers that have given birth?
Yeah, yeah. This year we have recorded the youngest mother was 15-year-old, unlike previous years where the youngest mother was 13 years old. That shows that as much as the numbers are increasing, the fact that the number of the youngest mother is moved from 13 years old to 15 years old, it shows that our programs, our awareness campaigns, they yield the results. But we still need to do more to
Mm.
ensure that we eradicate this teenage pregnancy by encouraging our children to openly talk to these children as parents in the families, at schools, at churches, to say, please, if you cannot be able to abstain, at least use protective, use the contraceptives, go to the clinic, go to the hospital to get contraceptives and other family planning services in order to prevent these unplanned pregnancies. And it's not only unplanned pregnancies, but the fact that they were not using the protections, it means they are vulnerable to other sexually transmitted diseases. As you know that in
Hmm.
the country, young people on a weekly basis, over 100,000 young people, they get infected with HIV. So this shows that these mothers who are not using protection, it means they might be vulnerable to sexually transmitted infection.
What is the legal age of consent for sexual activity?
In the country, I think anytime from 18. So, of course, these young mothers, people say this can be regarded as statutory rape. But the challenge is that these children, they don't reveal who impregnated them so that we can be able to work with police and social workers to open the case. So this is another concern. So it shows that some of these young girls, they get involved in sexual activities with fathers or men who are way older than them, which becomes another issue for us. So, but we understand because of the poverty level, but the poverty level should not drive young people to engage in sexual activities with older men or what we call the sugar babies.
Do we know who the fathers are
So, and I
in
think
most
they
cases?
don't want
Yeah.
to tell, yeah, most of the don't tell us the fathers of these babies are. So they just say, I was impregnated by someone that I was in love. And unfortunately, some of them, as I indicated, the age disparity between them, these teenage mothers, and the fathers is huge. Some of them find that the age is doubling, the age of the father is doubling or tripling the age of
Oh
the
boy.
teenage mother, which
Hmm.
also affect the future. Obviously, you cannot be in a long-term relationship with someone who's triple your age. So they're just taking advantage of young people because of their vulnerability, because of poverty levels.
Right. Mr. Mohale, would you mind just moving around a little? Your connection is a little scratchy. We just need you to be a little clearer. No, now it's gone worse. So while we wait for him to connect with us, the National Health Department has once again raised concerns over the increasing rate of teenage pregnancies around the country. More than 145 teenagers gave birth in public hospitals on Christmas Day alone. Now, this is in contrast with last year's figures, in which over 100 teenage mothers delivered babies both on Christmas and New Year's Day. So, the National Health Department spokesperson, whom we are speaking to now and in contact with now, um, has got the I quote him as follows: "This has got the potential to affect their future, as some of them may be forced to take a break in their academic journey and look after their babies." The department also calls on society to collaborate with the government on sexual and reproductive health awareness campaigns meant to empower young people to make use of health services, especially family planning and contraceptive use, in order to prevent unplanned pregnancy, which is exactly what he was telling us just before we lost contact with him. Is he with us online? All right, we're going to have to take a break. Unfortunately, the line has just disconnected. So we'll try again and continue with the story after the break.
Our brothers and sisters in Palestine are enduring unimaginable hardships. Ashraful Aid teams are on the ground delivering crucial aid to those in need. But we can't do it alone. Palestine is suffering and they need your help. Your support can make a world of difference. Visit www.ashrafulaid.org today and donate to bring hope, relief, and healing to those who are in need.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
The Turkey-Syria earthquake is among the deadliest earthquakes of the last century. Thousands have lost their lives, and large areas and cities and towns in southern Turkey and northern Syria have turned to rubble, leaving huge numbers of residents with very little or nothing at all. Al-Imdad Foundation's emergency relief team is on the ground providing life-saving aid. The people of Turkey and Syria desperately need your support. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating, and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, Now We Cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
Conveniently located along the banks of the Crocodile River bordering the Kruger National Park, as a guest at Buckler's Africa Lodge, one can enjoy an amazing sunrise or sunset on our spacious deck area while you catch a glimpse of some wildlife sightings along the Crocodile River. The sounds of the African savannah will greet you whilst you enjoy your morning coffee. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Buckler's Africa Lodge is ideally situated only 6 kilometers from the Crocodile Bridge Gate in the Kruger National Park. Catering for all travelers with variety, we have 4 types of the finest rooms: superior rooms, deluxe suites, and 2-bedroomed family units. Each room is equipped with the finest amenities to make your stay unforgettable. Guests can choose between the self-catering option or book their accommodation with breakfast and dinner included. Buckler's Africa Lodge is your ideal location for the ultimate Kruger getaway experience. We specialize in exhilarating and educational game drives in Kruger, tailor-made to suit your family. Inquire about our various accommodation offerings and other activities. Visit www.tingana.co.za for more information. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Experience the pulse of Africa with us.
Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
You're back with NajmaKhota on News and Views on Salam Media this morning. We apologize for that unexpected break. We're speaking to the Foster Mohale, who is the spokesperson for the health department regarding the 145 teenagers giving birth in public hospitals on Christmas Day alone this year. Mr. Mohale, this has serious repercussions for the social fabric of our society and on a broader scale, in a the like you said, the future lies in the hands of the teenagers who are not in fact going to be able to complete the education. And besides that, you have a baby born that needs to be taken care of, that of course is then also a member of society that needs to grow up in a very stable environment. And this then already has that effect. So we're not only looking at the mothers who've given birth, but we're looking at those babies that have been born. And no caregivers, if there are any caregivers, the mum is forced to take care of her baby, whom she is not, I suppose, prepared to look after, in the sense that she's still so young. And then the question is, do we have the fathers taking responsibility for the care of the children in every respect? What can you tell us about that, Mr. Mohale?
Yeah, no, definitely, as you correctly pointed out, that some of these young mothers, they come from disadvantaged families where they don't have enough family support structures that will assist them to look after the babies when they return to school. But they are forced to take a break from school. But also with regards to, then they have to rely on social services like social grants, which are not sustainable in the long term, because they only get about 500 per month or 350 per month, which is not sustainable. But also this is also putting more pressure to the social services. Instead, while we expect these young people to grow, to complete their studies and work and plow back to the community and also to the economy. But also,
so again, when we look at what we calling the repercussions, and you see how if they are having to be provided for via a grant, then that of course is a strain on government's coffers, which comes out of taxpayers' money. So something seriously needs to be done. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Right. So again, let's look at solutions. What are the solutions? Because I know that the health department has tried over the years, and we're seeing you, as you've said, your campaigns have worked. But something harder needs to be done, if that's the right word.
No, definitely. And I said that we need to join hands. Like we work as the Department of Health, we work with the departments like your Department of Basic Education, where we take these dialogues, we have discussions, we take these awareness campaigns to schools. And we also work with the departments like your Department of Social Development, where we work with the social workers to guide these young people, especially the young women who are more vulnerable. But we also need the society to come forward. Like we need other departments, like other private sector, to come up with some other economic opportunities to encourage them. Say, no, we've got the bursary, so please, you don't have to fall pregnant at an early age. And these are the advantages of you if you continue to look after yourself, you abstain or you use the protection. But also, lastly, we also need to encourage the families, because this thing, the teenage pregnancy, is start at the family level, where the parents, when the kids are not sleeping at home, they don't come at home on time, they hang out with the boys and or the adults, the males, they don't say anything. So we need to at the family level to educate our children. Otherwise, you're going to be surprised when our children are baby, and it will be very late when the child is pregnant. So we need to prevent this and dealing with the effects of this. So we need the families to be open, to break this taboo, to say, no, I cannot talk the sex education with my children. Because the more you talk, the more you are trying to prevent these challenges.
Yes. And in terms of the boys, the males, are they being conscientized? I mean, is there any proactive movement around, sexual education awareness there?
Yeah, no, definitely. Our campaigns, we target adolescent girls and young women together with the boys, because the boys, they also contribute to this. And when the girl child is pregnant, we only look at the girl, forget that it took two to make tango. So it took two to make a child. Yes, we say we can't leave these boys behind. We need to work with them. They need to work with us to protect their little sisters against these sugar daddies who impregnate these children, and then they dump them. They go back to their wives, to their family. Some of them, they are way older than them. So we say we need to work with these young boys, but also with other structures in the communities to say, please, let's come up with some other activities, sporting activities that will keep them busy, that will, and also work with some celebrities, the influential leaders, to say, if you can look after yourself, you are going to be like so and so in future. You're going to be a future leader. You're going to be a celebrity. You're going to represent your country somewhere.
Right. And also we have this, the factors that have been identified as to why this is happening, and one of which is poverty, and the other is lack of education. And of course, whatever else makes them vulnerable. So, if we look, I don't know, do you agree that that would be a reason, poverty? Because it's not actually supporting them in terms of alleviating their problem socioeconomically.
No, definitely the poverty levels, you cannot rule them out. It's one of the contributing factors. Remember, these kids, when they see their friends wearing expensive labels, and they know that in families, the parents, they cannot be able to afford, then for them to achieve those labels, then they go and hang out with adult men who have got financial muscles to can be able to spoil them. So poverty levels, they've got the contributing factors into this teenage pregnancy.
And of course, as you've mentioned, lack of education. I just want to tell you something which I've experienced on a very small scale regarding this observation of teenage pregnancy. So I was busy with a project at a school, and it was specifically with the grade 10 classes. And in that roll of about, if I'm not mistaken, there were about 180 girls. It was a girls' school. And in that class, I had 4 girls that were pregnant. And, we know this happens, we read about it, but then to be exposed to it so directly in terms of this is the reality, And you see, so it's grade 10. You're going into the most important years of your schooling life. I also noticed that the school supports these girls quite well. I'm not quite sure how these girls deal with the perhaps a bit of bullying or a bit of shaming, but I find that there's a more of an acceptance around that in the school, so that they can get these girls to at least try to finish the year if it's possible, depending on which trimester they are in during their pregnancy. And this is 2 years ago. Mr.
Yeah.
Mohale?
No,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes, yeah. No, definitely, absolutely correct that girls are more vulnerable, but as you said, we work with influence sectors like entertainment sectors. We take all these celebrities, the women who are successful in life, to go and positively influence these young girls to say, please, you see, some of them, they committed mistakes and are able to share with these young people, say, please, I was supposed to be far further than where I am now if I didn't commit this mistake of teenage pregnancy. So yes, we really the issue of poverty is contributing to this. Then we also work with closely with the Department of Basic Education and the Higher
Right.
Education Department, because we are able to take these services to these schools, to these colleges, to these universities, and some of them we rope them into our programs to be the ambassadors, to be the future leaders, so that they can be able to influence their friends, their peers positively to become the future leaders of the country.
Mm-hmm. So, has the National Health Department got another specific campaign for 2024, or an awareness campaign, if you like, or prevention campaign? Because it's awareness and prevention, right? Do you have anything planned for 2024?
Yes, but our plans, we've got the annual campaigns with different stakeholders. One of the campaigns, we call it First Thing First. First Thing First is a campaign targeted to young matriculants who are arriving at institutions of higher universities, because they're going to change the lifestyle, they're going to meet new friends, new environments. So First Thing First, we are trying to encourage them, say, the first thing that you do to arrive at university is to avoid the sexual activities. Don't be influenced, but don't be too excited by new environment, by freedom that we are getting. So remember to protect yourself as you continue. If you want to complete the journey that we are embarking on, which is a tertiary institution journey. Secondly, we continue with the campaign called Sexual and Reproductive Health at high school, at primary schools, working closely with the Basic Education Department to have dialogues with young people, take these celebrities to this school, say, please, let's educate these children, let's have competition with these children, try to reward them for those who understand, for those who will come up with some good initiatives on how to positively influence the peers school levels in order to ensure that they try to abstain or use the protection, but also working with the nurses, because the nurses also need to tell them the challenges that they experience with some of these young persons who come to clinic. Some of them, they come late. Some of them, when they're pregnant, they opt for illegal abortion, which is very dangerous. So they are able to tell them to say, some of your friends, they come to our clinics when they fall pregnant because they didn't take contraceptives, then they opt for illegal abortion. When the illegal and risky abortion go wrong, some of them were unable to save their lives, so that they can be able to be familiar with the realities, the challenges, the serious challenges that you go through, that some of their peers, they end up losing their lives while they're trying to commit illegal abortion. So we try by all means to tell them, even the horrific stories, to say some of your friends could not survive precisely because they didn't listen. So listen in order to become the future leader of the country.
Mm-hmm. Is there any way one can curtail the problem with the fathers?
The issue of fathers is the thing that they run away. So, but we say for those fathers, responsible fathers at home, please, the fathers and the mothers and the uncles, let's sit down with our children. Let's educate them. We need to play a real parental role, because because the more we say this taboo for us to discuss sex education with our children, is the more we're going to get surprised. And when we get surprised, it's a mistake that you cannot undo. So once your child is pregnant, you can't undo, because if you try to abort the baby, is the more you don't know. God don't know how many babies God has given your child. So, and it's also risky. So we say, let's start begins at home. Let's educate. Let's openly talk the sex education with our children, so that they know the dangers. We try to give them examples of some of those who couldn't survive. We take them to nurses. We take them to social workers. To say, please take my children through the challenges that you go through with who fall at age.
Yeah, so I think the different role players have to be engaged, with one goal in mind. So, of course, the primary healthcare system, it starts with education, but then the primary healthcare system with the nurses who are in a position to educate or advise and not turn them away and not be judged in any way, because that's where they need the help, the education, whether it's about contraception or whether it's about, well, abortion is another contentious topic. However, just so that they can be engaged in such a way that the girls might not feel comfortable going home, but at least they know that there is a trained nurse that can, in fact, guide them and direct them regarding this problem, because you and I both spoke about the repercussions, and I think there are much more difficulties that come along with this that affects all of us, in fact, as South Africans, because we see the health department also being inundated. If you just go to Baragwanath's casualty department, and you see how many pregnant women there are, and we hear stories of women giving birth, on the floors in the hospitals, which is unacceptable. So it is a huge problem, and we do appreciate that people like yourself and the health department, of course, are aware of the problem, but we need to engage more often so that we can create something that will work for supporting this problem and looking for solutions together, and hopefully we can make a difference in the lives of these young people who are creating problems for themselves and for the rest of the country. Because if you look at the statistics, we've got 30% of the country's has teenagers. There are, I beg your pardon, teenage pregnancies, 30% in the country, 65% are unplanned. So, what does this say? It's staggering, it's shocking, and I'm glad that we were able to speak to you about it today, Mr. Mohale, because I think we need to be a bit more, vociferous around addressing this problem in the schools, in the societies, in the communities, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. Maybe lastly, also, as we engage these young people to understand some of the challenges that make them not to come to our clinics to get family planning services, contraceptives. Some of them, they mention the issue of staff attitude, the nurses' attitude, but look, we don't rubbish that, all the challenges that they tell us. We go back to our clinics, we try to talk to our nurses. That's why we establish what we call youth-friendly zones in the clinics, so that when these young people, they come to our clinics, they don't go and queue with the rest of the clients or the patients. They've got a dedicated place within the clinic where they get welcomed and served by young nurses of their age, doctors of their age, so that they're able to open, they're able to share their life experiences with regards to teenage pregnancy, with sex education, so that they become open when they get served and assisted by young nurses and the young doctors. So, and this has been yielding the positive results, because now we see in all the clinics that we have established, these youth-friendly zones, we see the uptake of services by young people is increasing, because they feel comfortable. There's no judgment. There's no what they call judgmental attitude, because they feel free. They are comfortable to talk to these young nurses and the young doctors.
That's I think a bit encouraging to hear, and we wish you all the best with these campaigns. Thank you so much for your time, spokesperson for the Health Department, Foster Mohale, for sharing your time with us.
Thank you very much for this. Thanks very much for giving us this opportunity to educate your listeners. We believe that one or two will have listened to us and will hear their call, will join us in this campaign to save the future leaders of South Africa.
Absolutely. All right, we've just been trying to get hold of our next guest, Mr. Ahmed Ahdar. As we've mentioned, he is live out of Jenin. He is a resident of Jenin. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get in touch with him. I did hear from our producers here and my technical team that he was arrested um, by the Israeli forces, but we did speak to him after that, so he was released. Let's just hope we can get hold of him so we can get the story straight from him, inshallah. In the meantime, we catch up with Councillor Zama Sibisi, Alfred Duma. He is the local municipality mayor.